Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name remains Emenike Yorebu, and this is Focal Point. Focal Point is an online TV program where we discuss things happening in our environment, Abia State, and Nigeria in general. And today on this show, we have with us the Honorable Commissioner for Justice, Abia State, and also the Attorney General of Abia State. We have the person of Honorable Barrister Ikechukwu Uwanna. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yorebu.
Thank you so much for this interaction.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go straight into the issue. I have introduced you. Is there something else I need to add to the introduction that I have not yet?
I think there are things that we need to remove, not add.
So what do we need to remove?
I keep telling people every day that barrister is not a title.
Okay.
So I always prefer to be addressed as Ikechukwu Uwanna.
Okay, let's move direct to the issue. You took over the office like after your inauguration about a month plus now. How has it been generally coming into this environment? What are the challenges and how has it been?
So it's been an interesting experience for me. Very challenging, very rewarding. I came into office about a month ago and I noticed that there was a lot to be done. We had to face it head on, and we've been doing a lot to ensure that we improve the efficiency in the administration of justice system in Abia State. And I think we're making gradual progress so far. I must also say that it's been an interesting experience because I'm working with a governor who is very much interested about things relating to administration of justice, and is committed to ensuring that we're very successful in this ministry.
Okay, let's go straight into the next question. There have been issues as regards cases staying so long in court and stuff like that. A lot of people in a waiting trial. What is your plan coming in as the new head of the judiciary in Abia State? What do you intend to do? How can you change the narrative? What do you want to add or what do you want to remove?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. That's part of what has engaged my time in the past 1 month. So I've had a series of meetings with the prosecution department. As meanwhile, the prosecution department is the one in charge of the matters, that's criminal matters in court. And we have had to review the files that we have in our docket. We realized that so far we have a lot of files that don't need to be in our docket.
Okay.
Cases where the witnesses are not interested in coming to testify, cases where the complainant are not interested in the case. And I've given a directive that if we have such cases, they should be discontinued. We should withdraw from those cases. The truth is that we cannot cry more than the bereaved. Those cases are clogging the court's docket. Those cases are clogging the administration of justice process. And we think that if we can get those cases out of our system and concentrate on the ones that we have sufficient facts and evidence that would earn us conviction, that would actually help the system. So that is one, I think, and those cases form about 30% or 40% of the cases we have in the ministry. So we are doing a review of the files now, and I'm sure that after the vacation that we have early in September, we'll start seeing that a number of those cases will drop off the system. And we realize that we need to convict, or we need to get to prosecute people, but we cannot be persecuting or seek to persecute people. No. And we're not a ministry of injustice, we're a ministry of justice. So the idea is, if there's a case pending in court where we don't have sufficient evidence to prosecute, we shouldn't leave it in court. And that's the directive that I've sent for. That is one. Number two, an administration of criminal justice, and justice really is beyond the cases that we have in our docket. I'm also engaging other stakeholders as the chief law officer of the state. I'm engaging the chief judge who has the judiciary. I'm engaging the president of the Customary Court of Appeal, and they've been very supportive. I'm getting very good feedback from them. There are so many things that we need to encourage our people to embrace, and that's one of the feedbacks I've gotten. The one is alternative dispute resolution mechanism, mediation, arbitration, and so on and so forth. We have the multi-door courthouse now in Abia State, and I would encourage our people to embrace the multi-door courthouse. Because a lot of the cases that we think are that serious can be resolved through mediation. Okay. Let us go to the mediation process. With the mediation, we don't need even lawyers. With mediation, it's party-driven. So we're quickly able to resolve a lot of those cases without congesting the court system. Also, I know that a lot has to do with the number of judges that we have in Abia State. We're working hard to ensure that we have an increased number of judges. We're working hard to ensure that also their environment which they work in is also improved, and all of that, I'm sure, would help the administration of justice to be more efficient.
Okay, let's look a little bit into the area of judges. Earlier on or before, there have been allegations of judges emanating from family members, from friends, from what process do you intend to use now to make sure that every judge that comes on board are judges that have the capacity and have the right qualification to do that?
I would say that if you want to understand how a system works, maybe you should check from the head. And I'm very proud to say this with every sense of responsibility, that we have a governor who is interested in our doing the right things. His Excellency, Dr. Alex Oti OFR, wants only merit and merit alone. So he would, it's going to be a clear departure from what had happened before. The only thing that will count this time around is merit, and merit. That's going to be the requirement and the condition for anybody to become a judge in Abia State, whether the High Court or the Customary Court of Appeal. And we're going to do that so that our people will start seeing that there's a value to hard work, there's a value to industry. Also, I'm grateful that also the Chief Judge of the State, Honorable Justice Lillian Abai, is also is a stickler for the rules. Mm-hmm. She chairs the JSC, which would screen or midwife the process of appointment of the judge. Okay. And she's someone, my lord, the CJ, someone I have a lot of respect and regard for, that she will do nothing but do the right thing. And I know that we have the best environment to get it right this time around. And believe me, that we'll get it right.
Okay, what is the mediation process? Because this could look like very new, though it's been there, but it's going to be new to our people. What kind of cases go to mediation? What is it all about?
Okay, mediation is party driven, and what happens is that a claimant or a person who is aggrieved, whether it's landlord tenancy, whether it's contractual matters, whether it's relating to recovery of debt, any of those kind of things, can just walk into the Abia State multi-door courthouse, and they'll give you a form where you can just succinctly, concisely state out what your issues are. Mm-hmm. And then on the basis of that, the other person will be invited by the mediator or the case manager, as the case may be, and then the case is reviewed, and people are encouraged to see why they should resolve the matter amicably. The record of success in Lagos is amazing. When I mean amazing. So a lot of the cases that would ordinarily get into the court system and be in the court system, clogging the system, are resolved easily and quickly. Very efficient process, and also cost-effective process. You're not paying anything serious. So you're able to resolve those issues quickly using that process.
Okay, that means purely civil matters.
Purely civil matters, yes. Okay. Purely civil matters, yes.
Okay, let's go to one issue that Abians are really hungry to know exactly what is happening. The government of Abia State and the government of Abia State recently set up a panel of inquiry which focuses to recover and properties and funds of Abia State. What is the current position? Has the panel started, or is it about to start?
Okay, let me start by saying that the panel has been constituted. They've sent out a call for memoranda, mm-hmm. And call for petitions and other things, and they are doing the preliminary works that they need to do to get the process ongoing. Okay. However, we all are aware that there's a court mm-hmm. order restraining them from inviting some persons and carrying out some activities. That order has been considered by the state. We filed our processes to set aside that order of the FCT High Court. I emphasize the FCT High Court because it is a bit awkward that a High Court of another state will stop the proceedings of what is basically a court in another state.
That should be a matter of jurisdiction.
Yeah, it's a matter of jurisdiction. I'm sure that the courts, the issues are before a court, so because it's sub judice, there'll be a limit to what I can comment about it. But just to say that our lawyers are following the legal process to ensure that we set aside that order of the court. Yes.
But that has not completely shut down the activities of
No, it has not, and it cannot.
Okay, let's go to infrastructure. We have, during the last administration, there were sometimes pictures and videos will pop up of court situations or infrastructures in Bende, in Abia, in Yosisioma, and it's always looking very bad. What is the plan of this administration, and as you, as the Commissioner for Justice, to see how to get these things fixed?
Okay, let me start by saying that His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti, WFR, is fully aware of the situation of our courtrooms around the states. We have done a thorough review. We have the video recordings of those courtrooms from Isukwato to Bende to Ohafia to Ohafia has been recently touched up to Ikechukwu. They're all in totally bad states. From Uwanna here in Omaha, Uwanna courts. The High Courts at Uwanna is total mess. Even the High Court premises is not in a good shape. The CJ's courts is in a very bad shape. The CJ does
High Court premises?
Yes, the CJ does not have a conference room, and that is befitting of a CJ. And that's how it cuts across. Obingwa, I've gotten reports at Obingwa. I've also seen the how the courts are in Obingwa and a number of other places, even in Abia and all of that. So you find out that the courts around Abia State are not what they should be. We have a number of constraints. One is budgetary constraints. We've reviewed the 2023 budget of the states, and not adequate provision has been made in that budget for us to deal with the courts, with the infrastructural challenges that we have as far as the court system is concerned. But we're looking at how we work with the House of Assembly so we can have adequate budgetary provision to give a facelift to our courts across the state. Beyond that as well, we're looking at how to collaborate with the private sector. I think from next week we would have valuers and quantity surveyors come around to do a quick review of this court system and give us what the preliminary budgets for those court halls are. And the plan that we're trying to put together is that we'll look for, some well-off individuals who can come together to see how much they can contribute to the rebuilding of those infrastructure. But just to say that at this point that the state is doing a total audit of it, trying to understand how much it will cost, and we are poised to ensure that we'll swing in very soon to start rebuilding those court halls.
Yes, we're still on the interaction with the Honorable Commissioner for Justice in Abia State, the person of Mr. Ikechukwu Uwanna. He said the bandstand.
It's not a title. And there's a court judgment to that effect.
There is. This is focal point. Okay, let's go to the issue of workers. Before you took over, before this government took over properly, the workers' union were on strike. In fact, they had to negotiate with the present government before what really has been done now to alleviate those and to make sure we do not go back to that strike again?
Okay, I will say that we took over at a very low point. The courts were locked up. Thankfully, we engaged the judiciary union and they gave us the benefit of the doubt to call off the strike. We've signed a memorandum of understanding between them to the effect that we'll look at what their grievances are, we'll deal with them. We've reviewed those grievances. I think the major grievance that is outstanding at this point is the differentials in their payment of their salary for January, February, March, and April of 2015.
2015.
Yes. So His Excellency has promised that from October or so, we'll start making payments on those arrears that are outstanding so that we can clear them off. We're a very responsible government that wants to ensure that our workers are well inspired and well motivated to work. So I'm sure that by October they will start clearing off the outstanding from those salaries.
So in the ministry now, as of today, everybody is receiving his or her salary as at when due?
Yes, everybody is receiving their salaries as at when due. And we're not just receiving salaries, we're receiving subvention from the state government. So we've been able to, by the time we took over administration a month ago, no toilet could flush. There was no water to flush. There were plumbing issues. We've been able to resolve the plumbing issues across all the offices. From tomorrow, because we've disbursed the money, they are fixing all the. As you can see in this office, there's only two bulbs that are working out of four, and the fans don't blow. The AC is not working well. So we're fixing all the lighting issues. Most of the circuits are not working. So we are doing a revamp of the ministry gradually. So the lighting issues will be sorted out, fans and all of that will be provided. So the environment is a bit more conducive for more lively for the lawyers and other persons who are here to work. And we thank the governor for paying attention to the plight of the ministry and releasing the subvention to us. And we hope that gradually a lot of other things would getting on stream. We're also working to, the governor has given approval for us to provide a workstation. And right now we have a very sad and pitiable situation where all the documents, or most of the documents of the ministry, are being produced in a business center across the road here. So you will have a sad situation, charge against somebody, and maybe his brother is beside you, and they are typing very sensitive government documents, contractual documents, or photocopying them. You have to go to Finbars Road to go and photocopy. But that's what we have inherited. And thankfully, His Excellency has approved and is going through procurement right now that we set up a workstation. It will have over 10, 15 laptop, print and computer systems, printers, photocopiers, and then it's solar panel. So whether there's solar power, whether there's power, is going to work. So we hope that with that, we'll start shutting down some of the business centers and film bars.
Okay, let's in the final lap of our interaction. Of course, we'll have other more interactions as the government go on. But now, as at this point now, what would you be promising Abians from your own ministry that they should be expecting from you and should be looking up to?
Okay. Now we are doing a total overhaul of the ministry. The heads of departments I know also met today. We're starting from the scratch. His Excellency's mantra, His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti Oyefarao mantra is to rebuild Abia. So I think for us to rebuild Abia, we have to go to the foundation, drop a new master plan. So we are developing a new strategic plan for the ministry, and we're planning for 3 years. What is our goal? What is our mission? What is our focal vision? And we want it to be measurable. We want it to be time-bound. What and what do we need to improve on? So we're doing, from the departments are developing one. So we're hoping that in the next few weeks, we'll have a roadmap for this ministry, a strategic plan for this ministry that we can use to monitor and evaluate ourselves as we proceed. We have 1,000 cases today. How many cases are we going to have in 3 years' time? How many have we been able to dispense of? So we need to start having some process to give account of what we are doing and evaluate ourselves on how successful we are. So we are building that parameters gradually. Once the plan is developed, we'll go on a retreat as a ministry with the heads of departments so that we can actually start breaking it down and allotting responsibilities and tasks to several persons who will be held responsible to deliver on their area of assignment. Then a lot of other issues around, if we have the right plan, if we have this right mission, I don't think that money will be a problem, because the money will naturally flow in. The government will have more pay more attention to us. People would even have more confidence to invest in Abia, because what we do here, we realize that it has a clear nexus to how investors come in. Because if you're not able to get cases out of the system quickly, no investor would want to come and invest. If it's a place that is unstable because we have a lot of criminals roaming around, no investor will want to come and invest. So we realize that there's a clear nexus between what we are doing in this ministry and the revenue generation capacity of the state. So we are trying to ensure that we are more efficient, so we can contribute our bit to ensure that the state is more efficient, become an investment destination for everyone, and it's also somewhere that everybody would want to come and return to. So we will make it more comfortable for people to come, and that's the role we want to play going forward. That's number one. Number two, our perception is important. What I see every day sitting here is that people perceive us, and sorry to use this, as a ministry of injustice. We want to turn around that perception. We want to become a ministry of justice. As in spirit and in truth, as they will say. So people walking here knowing that through this system, through the justice sector in Abia State, they will get justice. It's important, because you can't have peace, you can't have stability, you can't have economic growth without justice. That's the bedrock of any thriving society and environment. So we hope that we'll administer justice so that there will be that stability for the state to prosper. So we hope to ensure that we change the paradigm in the states, in the justice administration system, and contribute our quota to make our state truly the first, truly the best. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
We've had an extensive interaction with the Honorable Commissioner for Justice. We've discussed a whole lot of things as regards the ministry and the government in general. We will be bringing you subsequent more interactions on different angles as time goes. My name remains Emenike Rebu. This is Focal Point. Enjoy our program on all our social media handles and comment. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.